A tour of Halifax Harbour. On board, Haligonians who want federal politicians to do more to protect the coastline.
So thank you all for joining us.
In particular, they're concerned about Halifax's northwest arm, considered to be a city gem for its easy access to swimming, its parade of pleasure boats, and its abundance of sea life. Those aboard worry it's under threat by homeowners infilling their water lots.
And if you start privatizing the waters of the arm, then you lose it. And if you squeeze the ocean, then you no longer have that vast, vast capacity that the ocean has to serve all these functions.
This is a rough idea of what one homeowner proposes to do, a massive infilling. Technically, the project could proceed, although the federal government does have an opportunity to review the project. And while the owner, a known property developer in town, isn't commenting, these people argue this kind of coastal development shouldn't be allowed at all.
Review processes don't stop projects. They authorize their harmful effects.
They want the next federal government to bring in tougher laws, not just to prevent infilling, but to police coastal development in general. And they want Ottawa to provide more help to cope with this. Climate change, which is bashing Nova Scotia's coastline. This province is literally shrinking and sinking.
Nova Scotia is experiencing the greatest relative sea level rise in Canada. And here we sit on the path of post-tropical storms and hurricanes and nor'easters, which cause extreme coastal damage in our winter months. We are going to see more and more coastal flooding, storm surge, accelerated erosion, and saltwater intrusion of fresh groundwater. Our coastline and our marine environment are under attack from the impacts of climate change, and now is the time that we need to be protecting our coastal ecosystems, not destroying them.
The call here is for Ottawa to do more to help waterfront communities adapt, build seawalls, relocate infrastructure, reinforce waterfronts, and that will take money. People are clamoring for it here.
When there are funds available, like last October, the federal government put forward a climate action fund. It was so hotly competed for by so many little parties that wanted to do things desperately that it crashed the system for application for 5 days and nobody could get their applications in.
But the argument goes that investing in coastal protection now makes financial sense down the road.
You know, we can tackle one challenge at a time, but if we don't save our citizens, those tax dollars will be doing disaster funds instead. And it's, I think, is it $1 of prevention and adaptation to $12 each disaster? So it's time to do it now.
Which brings us back to the infilling issue. It's an example, environmentalists argue, of how what we do to our coastlines now could have a lasting effect.
The issues with infilling and reclamation is that it can make the coastline more vulnerable and more susceptible to flooding and to bigger surge of storms.
Like a rising tide, concern for the coastline is growing here. The question for many this election may well be which political party offers the best plan to navigate the choppy waters ahead. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Halifax.